Hey, here's a groundbreaking observation. Humans make poor decisions. We're self-centered, short-sighted, and impulse-driven, and lately I've been thinking about one particular example of that. Gambling. At first glance, I kinda get it. You put some money on the table and predict a specific outcome. If the outcome you predicted doesn't happen, you lose your money, but if the outcome you predicted does happen, you take back more than you put in. Sounds pretty fair, right? But then I think about it for like 2 seconds and I realize, oh, this is the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever heard. You're risking your money on random chance. You have no control over the outcome unless you fixed it somehow, and that's not gambling then, is it? Sure, you might win, but most bets have more than two possible outcomes. And even when you're betting on things that do only have two possible outcomes, like the result of, say, a basketball game, hardcore gamblers are always complicating things with side bets like who's going to score first, who's going to finish with the most points, or how big the winning team's margin of victory is going to be, all of which virtually guarantees that if you gamble long enough and frequently enough, you lose more than you win. You don't come out ahead. The occasional friendly bet between friends is one thing. Taking a swing and buying a lottery ticket once in a while is another, but once you get into organized, high-stakes gambling, it's just a way for people with money to take advantage of people with less money. I'm talking about racetracks, I'm talking about casinos, and I'm talking about those mobile sports betting apps that you hear being advertised on every podcast. Those sports betting apps are something I've been preoccupied with off and on for the last year or more. What a racket those things are. You couldn't lose your money any faster if you just tossed your cash into the air on a windy day, I bet. Hey, I bet. I didn't even plan that one, he says in the video he scripted ahead of time. Anyway, I was listening to a podcast the other day and I heard an ad for one of those sports betting apps, and there was one particular line that stuck in my head. The announcer said that placing wagers using their app makes your favorite sports more exciting because putting money on it adds stakes. And yeah, I guess so. But the question that immediately occurred to me was, if it's your favorite sport, why do you need to add stakes by gambling on it? You want your team to win. You want your team to beat their arch rivals. You want your team to make the playoffs and win the championship. Those are the stakes, right? If you need to have money riding on the game in order for it to have stakes for you, in order to make it interesting, maybe that's not your favorite sport. And if you need to have money riding on any game to make it interesting, maybe you just don't like sports? You know it's okay to not like sports, right? There are lots of sports I don't like. In fact, I'm not interested in most sports. And some sports, okay, really just one sport, American football, I downright despise. Even with the sports I do enjoy or have enjoyed in the past, my interest in them has waxed and waned over the years. In the 90s, at the height of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls dynasty, I was into basketball. In the late 90s, when my baseball team, the Baltimore Orioles, had some good years and made the postseason, I was super into that. I've also enjoyed tennis here and there over the years, and when the Olympics come around, summer and winter, I try to watch as much of them as I can. There's just something about the Olympics that makes me care about, like, swimming and downhill skiing and shit. I can't explain it. But it's never even occurred to me to try and manufacture some reason to be interested in games that I wasn't already interested in. Especially if that reason was something that was going to end up costing me money. What the hell is that? Why are sports the only form of entertainment where certain people seem to feel obligated to watch them? Imagine if they had gambling for other things like soap operas. Viewers would make soap operas interesting by betting on which character was going to double-cross somebody, or who was going to turn out to be whose long-lost sibling, or who was going to be revealed to be the serial killer that's been terrorizing the unnamed mid-sized Eastern American city in which the show is set. That would be absurd, right? If it would be absurd for soap operas, why isn't it absurd for sports? I think it is. I haven't watched a single minute of a Super Bowl game since high school. Shit, I haven't even watched a World Series game in years, and I love baseball. It's okay to not watch things that lots of other people watch. And also, as I just said, baseball. Do you really want to give your money to a company that runs a sports betting app with the hope that you might occasionally get some of it back to force yourself to want to watch something you don't want to watch? If you need money, gambling is a really, really bad way to get it. And if you've got too much money, there are much better ways of getting rid of it. Spend it on other people. Help out someone in need. Donate to charity. Contribute to someone's crowdfunding campaign. Or spend it on yourself. Instead of throwing it away, betting on a game you don't even care about, buy yourself a good cup of coffee. Or a new pair of socks. What's better than a new pair of socks? Especially when the weather starts to turn cold. Nice warm pair of socks. This isn't some moral crusade for me. I do think it's wrong to take advantage of people's desperation and credulity the way companies that run gambling operations do, but I don't think there's anything inherently immoral about the act of placing a bet on something. I just think it's fucking foolish. Watch what you like, don't watch what you don't like, and save your money or spend it on something that will make your life or someone else's life a little better. There are plenty of things in this world determined to bury us. We don't need to do so much of the digging ourselves.